Get him, Strakk! Get him, Strakk!
That is just what I needed!
And so, Strakk is the winner!
Hello everyone and welcome to the recap review. Today we're going to be taking a look at set number 8982, Strakk. The set contains approximately 46 pieces, was released in the winter of 2009, and during time of release was approximately $13. Alright, so a little bit of backstory behind Strakk. He is a Glatorian from the Ice Tribe. Actually, he was recently exiled as far as the story is concerned. He was the first Glatorian, but now he's just a wandering nomad. Now, before we get into the actual review, let me get my disclaimer out of the way. Just because there are pros and cons in this review does not necessarily mean they're my personal opinion. I do my best to keep these videos as objective as possible, and as such, any all comments made during these videos are not meant to be taken as my personal opinion. So please, unless I explicitly state so, do not assume that anything here is. Alright? Excellent. Let's get into the review. Now, Strakk here, many may know, is what is technically classified as an Anika build. Now, the thing about Strakk is that he's a little bit different. He's been modified slightly. And he is one of the recent examples that the Anika build is not as straightforward, and it can be used in new and interesting ways. So people will often harken back to him and Skrull when they're talking about the pros and the cons of the Anika build. So let's go ahead and look at the set. As we can see here, Strakk has the standard amounts of articulation, 3 in the arms, 3 in the legs, and an additional 2 in the head and neck area. Some functions and features that he has would be the Thornax launcher. It's really simple. Just go ahead and press down and hope that actually launches. Come on. Almost there. I'd say that's close enough, but it can't. There we go. Okay. So it's really straightforward, simple to use. And these are new pieces here. Speaking of new pieces, actually, there are these 2 new pieces right there. And we have these large armor pieces. Look kind of like icicles or what are they? Glaciers. Just kind of. They're white melded with this flexible, kind of transparent blue material. Additionally, we have the Glatorian head. And this time for Strakk, we have it in a light transparent blue. So it kind of fits in with his color scheme. We have the new helmet. It's kind of got a overbite there. And the axle that goes in the top. Just go ahead and put that in there like that. Additionally, we have the counter. Now this is for a game, a mini game that I will go over at the end of the series over in the 2009 overview. So look out for it there. And we have this giant axe. This large ice axe. And the new handpiece, and this time in white. I think we also have that in, what's his name? Metis as well. Aside from that, we don't really have any other recolors, so pretty much all of this you can get from other sets. You could technically count these leg pieces as recolors since they're the new mold, but they are technically in prior sets in that color, namely one of the Vizorak. Bogrock, I think is the pronunciation. So, if you're looking for recolors, you're not going to find them here. With all that out of the way, let's get into the functions. And there are only a few. The previously mentioned game function, so the counter, and then the Thornax launcher, which will send this thing flying under the right conditions. As far as articulation is concerned, as I mentioned prior, it's fairly standard, so you can get some rather dynamic poses out of him. The issue with Strakk is that because of his weaponry, you can only get a few real good-looking ones, and while they're dynamic, they're few and far between. Additionally, there are some issues with his armor, the shoulder armor. You see, that is really the shape of it. They do not at all cover his shoulders aside from the front. So, since they're kind of flat looking almost, they do look somewhat awkward to some people. And if you look at them at the side, well, there's no coverage there at all. Now, posability is fine. However, it just looks kind of weird at certain angles. So you really got to keep the armor kind of like that. And if you look at him from behind, well, there's just the bare arm. Now, as far as the build is concerned, as I was mentioning prior, it's actually quite unique. You see, it uses this piece here, and we saw this in 2008, and this has his body at kind of an L shape. So he does have a hunch back, but it's a really unique look, because we still have this armor here. Now, the issue with this is that, makes that noise, because it's flopping around, but that's just intrinsic of that piece. We also have a little bit of gaps, just some gaps right here, but they're not that big of a deal. Most people don't really mind. So, Strakk, generally, his color scheme is kind of all over the place. While it's still shades of white and blue, there are a lot of them. Because you see we have these blue pins here, so it's a bright Mata blue, and we have one right here. We have the dark Metru blue, and then we have this bright kind of baby blue or sky blue. So there's a lot of different blues here, including his armor as well as his eyes. All different, all trying to coexist, all trying to make claim to this set. The only constant would be the white, evidently. We also, some people may not like this, have some red axles right here. Some people may not like the fact the Zamor launcher, or the I keep on calling it the Zamor launcher. The Thornax launcher and the Thornax are a different color from the rest of the set. Because as you may notice, the Thornax launcher is silver. There's not really any other silver on him aside from his back. One thing that people really do like about Strakk is his posability, and specifically in the neck. Because while he is hunched back, he does have that extra height due to the neck. So you can kind of make him look like this. Can give him the hunch look. It doesn't really matter. And of course, you can adjust the posability of the pelvis. Like so. So thankfully his posability is one of his strong points. Another issue, and this is really the last thing I need to touch on, or the last two things, would be the handpiece. Since it's actually more like a hand, people really can't do this bit. Because, it's like he's taking your hand and you're going like that. So people don't really like that. You can only extend it out to there. And additionally, the joints, they are really fragile. In fact, you might be able to see right here, this is cracked. So mocking potential with any of the joint pieces is really, really low. So that really sums up Strakk. There's not a whole lot to talk about considering he is a rather standard Inika build, up until the torso at least. And, he is what he is. Some people actually don't think he looks like a Bionicle set. They think that the helmet and the shoulder pieces are quite a departure from the standard Bionicle look. Now, what do you guys think? Because, really, that's the end of the review. Do I recommend you pick up Strakk? That's totally up to you. If you like ice characters, you're probably going to like Strakk. So what do you guys think? Do you like him? Do you like the other Ice Glatorian? Feel free to let me know either in the comments below or on the message boards at theboard.tvpodcast.com. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you soon for the review on Vorox. Adios!